For KNS, you're here for KNS 4713, which is project management. Okay, anyone here who is in the wrong course, please get out now. Okay, if you are here for KNS 1473, which is project management Pengurusan project, this one is going to be solely taken by me. You see me for the whole semester, except for maybe 1-2 classes. One classes I'll get Dr. Lee to come and teach you how to do Microsoft project. Another class I will invite a good friend of mine, an engineer, to teach you about payment costing and all that in the industry at the moment, just to give you an update. And other than that, I think that's all. You know, 1 or 2 or 3 classes maximum is going to be taken by other people. Other than that, it's going to be me. Okay, whether you like it or not, it's going to be me. Okay, for the whole sem. And let me find my course plan. Okay, give me a minute. Are you guys still in your own state now, staying at home? Not coming back to uni yet, right? Give me a minute. I'm trying to find my course plan. It's the drive of mine. There you go. Okay. Found it. Okay, Duke. Let me share my screen now. Today class will be not a awfully long one. Okay, we will just do some introduction to the courses and tell you what is going to go, what is going on. You know, how you're going to study and all that. Why do we need to do this? You know, and then Thursday is going to be the actual thing coming up. Okay, you still can hear me. If you can't hear me, please do raise your hand or something like that. Because I'm going to be talking away. I don't know, because none of you are on in your camera, so I can't see anybody. So this is project management, okay? And basically, I would have to tell you that this is the one and only course that is in your program that is going to be very intensively based in project management. In the year 1 that you do, that is very, very introductory. That is just like to give you a feel about what a site is like, what is construction like, what are the things that you need to manage, you know, and all that. And then half of the course is more on what is the industry like, what is construction industry, you know, and all that. So this one here is going to be, I won't be dwelling to you and say that, oh, what is time cost quality, what is engineering management, you know, that one we'll cover in about a week. Next week on Thursday, we'll cover that and we'll finish up with that. And then we'll be delving into straight away into very, very hardcore, very straight away, give you the thing, application, the technical things, you know, very strong technical things straight away, you know. So there's no such thing as, oh, I'm going to be babying you, giving you introduction, you know, giving you things like, oh, what is this, what is that, that kind of thing. So you should know, you know. So because we only have one course. You know, in my time, 20 over years ago, when I did project management in Australia, basically we have about year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, every year we have project management classes, and some of the classes are economic, some of the classes are pure economic, some of the classes are project management 1, 2, 3, engineering management 1, 2, project management 1, 2, 3, and then you've got like law and ethics, law one whole subject on law, and then one whole subject on economics and all that. So this is going to be the only one that we have. So we can't fight with structures. You know, this is the university styles, you know. I mean, like different universities, they have different styles. You know, some universities are very practical, some universities are very theoretical. So UNIMAS tends to be more on a calculation-based kind of thing. You know, so we are stronger in that. So you got a lot of structure subject. You know, lots and lots of structure subjects, lots and lots of geotech subject. You know, so all the technical subjects is a little bit more than we're going to be getting in management. You see, so here, basically, you know, you have to be prepared for some intensive stuff right away, huh? Sorry, I need to find my glasses, huh? Can anyone see my glasses? Oh, well, I've got one here. Okay, it's just more comfortable when I'm looking at the computer to have my glasses on. Otherwise, the reflection is making me very dizzy. Okay, yeah, so basically this is what we have, okay, quite intensively. So this subject will actually cover quite a fair bit of knowledge area in project management. And then the most important thing is I want you to get an appreciation between technical knowledge that you've learned in UNIMAS so far and with economics. Economics is dealing with more of overall, you know, like how our project is not actually going to be executed in a vacuum environment whereby it is very safe and very you know, like it's not going to be actually affected by external important things. You know, like now, you know, you can see that it's so much affected by the economic the economy of the state of the country, which is actually affected by COVID. And then there's going to be a lot of political you know, influence as well when you're doing your job, because a lot of the money actually do come from government, which is a taxpayer money, infrastructure project. So, and then there are, you know, economics part of things whereby, you know, a lot of projects are actually private developers. They are the one that has the money to build, and so they will engage you. So you see, your job is actually related to the bigger environment, the bigger factor in the country and even in the world. So you need to see that, you know, your technical skills that you've learned is like the foundation, is like the backbones. And then after that, you need to look at the application of your project in the external environment, which you need to appreciate the economic aspects of things. And then that will be interacting with how you're going to balance between the project, technical data, technical knowledge with the actual environment and the actual process of building and construction. And that is managerial principles. So you need to manage technical knowledge, you need to manage people, you need to manage resources, you need to manage time, cost, quality, you need to manage site materials, cleanliness, safety, all sorts of things needs to be managed. Okay, so you need to find that appreciation between what you've learned, like 80% here is technical. So, but when you get out there, you know, the project, when the project is in the particular environment, your technical knowledge will probably be about 20 to 30% will be applicable. But the other part of it is about how you as an engineer actually carry out and manage the project to find the intricate balance between, you know, holding on to technical ideals and versus what is actually happening, and trying to find a solution that can fit your technical and also your environment and your stakeholders, you see, people who are actually involved in the project, you see. So you need to find, you need to balance that appreciation. It's always like whatever decision that you make, it has to be people happy, project happy, and then the technical bit are not compromised. But at the end of the day, honestly, the technical bit is very important, because without that, you can't talk to people, you can't manage project at all. You know, when they say, oh, when you're a project engineer, they ask you, should we pass this? Should we say okay to the concrete mix that comes today? You know, the slump test is 160, you know, it's 150. I mean, like, if it's 170 plus or minus 25, your slump test is 160 ml. Can I pour now? You know, the chart is there, you know, can I pour now? You need to make that decision. Technically, you have to be straight away thinking, calculating, oh yeah, plus or minus 25, yes, but it's a bit weak, you know. I mean, it's a bit too, it's not flowing, you know, then you may have problems later. So you say, okay, no, I don't think we want to do that. But if you say, no, I'm not going to do that, then what's going to happen? You know, that concrete mixer truck is already here. Are you going to pay for it? Is that concreter going to say that, hello, you know, it's still within the limit? So you want me to bring it back? Who's going to pay for it? You know, if it's like $300 per meter cube, you've got 8 meter cube there or 5 meter cube there, you're talking about $2,000. Are you going to try to pour it in the drain? You know, you can't do that, you see. So you have to find that balance. So you have to use technically your know-how. Are you smart enough to technically solve this problem? Because you need to know, you have to balance money as well here, you know. You cannot tell people to go back and not pay for it, you know, because it is still within the limit. 175 minus 25, we're talking about 150. The concrete that came is 160 slump test. So you cannot say that you don't take it, you know, but you know that technically it will be a problem, you see. So you need to find the balance, you know. So maybe you can add in more super plasticizer, but don't forget the retarder. You know, these are things that you learn as you go along, you know. So if you put in a super plasticizer, that it flows really well, but it becomes too wet, you know, and then you forgot the retarder, and then you got the honeycomb later on. So this is the problem. And we have honeycomb, the whole structure is weak, you see. So you reject or not reject, or you do what? So you see, you have to find a balance. If it's technically too compromised, when you're being asked that question, obviously, if you don't know anything about concrete material, concrete mix, you can't answer that. You will go like, oh, okay, wait, I call my boss, I need to check with him, can or not. So you cannot make decision without a good technical background. You cannot make a good decision. So you see, project management is actually built onto good technical background. So as normally as you graduate, a lot of students like to ask me the thing, you know, like, should I go for site management or should I go for design, you know? So honestly, I always say, you know, if you can, go for design first, you know, go for design 1, 2 years, 2, 3 years, sit in a design office 2 years, do design, do just hardcore design. And then after that, do whatever you want. But never, even I'm a project management lecturer, I research in project management, never, ever go for project management first. Because project management, if you go into project management, you don't have the technical background, you're going to be a very embarrassed project manager all the time. You feel like want to hide in the meeting because you don't know what to say, you know, you're not sure what is being presented to you, you know, you don't know what is to say yes or no, agree or not agree, you know. So do not ever go into project management first. Go for technical knowledge first, and then move on to the site, the practical knowledge. And finally, as you move up the career, you will become a project manager. Okay, because as every project engineer, you need to learn to manage your project. And then with that little bit of experience as you go along, like 2 years, 3 years, design, and then followed by site for 4, 5 years, then you start to move into project management. That is very fair. So don't go and join a PMC, project management consultancy firm, straight away, okay? It's not good for you, okay? Right. And then, you know, we learn a lot. So here we will be learning managing different components of the project. The course is designed in such a way that you're going to be managing. So if you look at CLO2, we're managing different components, okay, so that you can actually make decision, okay. So first you must have a technical knowledge, then you have the managerial knowledge. Then from the managerial knowledge, we need to know every different components of the project are being managed in different ways, but the principles is the same. It's all about planning, it's all about execution, it's all about monitoring, it's usually about people, it's usually about materials, you know. So we are managing this component, okay. So you learn that managerial skills so that when you have a decision that you need to make, basically, you know, you have the technical knowledge here, you have the managerial knowledge in front of you, so you can balance in your head, you're doing your calculation, ding 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 ding. Okay, I think, you know, like the concrete example is a technical problem, but it will be converted into a managerial problem, you see. So when you convert that into a managerial problem, you need to be able to say in your mind, you know, where is the bottom line for your technical. You cannot cross that line. Here, managerial, you have that, you cannot cross that line. So you're moving in between. So your decision will have to be in between and try to find a way to resolve it without sacrificing, without crossing the bottom line here, without crossing the bottom line here. Okay, so basically you need to know about different components and how to manage different components of a project. There will be time, there will be cost, there will be quality, there will be procurement, which involves things like contract, tender, legal aspects of the job, okay? And then you'll be looking at time, cost, quality, which is very, very common, safety, occupational health and safety. And then you'll be looking at risk, you'll be looking at the feasibility studies, economics part of things, okay? Because for people who is going to go and do elective economics, you're going to learn a lot more later, okay? But here we need to give you at least 2 classes of economics so that you know there's calculations that you need to do before you tell your client that this is a better option than that, you see. So then all of this is to actually fulfill the objective of your client, of yourself as a professional engineer, and of course, at the end of the day, people who will use the project. So you see, a lot of engineers, they like to think my client is the most important thing because they're the paymaster. No problem, you know, they are the paymaster. You need to respect them, you know. Cash is king, money is honey, you know. So we know, you know, our bosses, our client is really, you know, our honey, you know. So we know. So yes, they are your honey. But professionally, you need to answer to yourself. 4 years of engineering school, and then maybe another 8 years before you get your PE, or 10 years before you get your PE and sign the chalk. This is a professional journey. The integrity of your work and the integrity of yourself and the way that you do it professionally, it matters. So you don't want to compromise that as well, okay? Plus, very important, public. Whoever is the end user of your job, you must take care of them. That is very important. Okay, they are the major stakeholder. Even they don't pay you, but you're going to be using it. They're going to be using your thing. Yes, your client is that developer who give you the design of 100 houses for that particular development. You're going to be paid. You're going to be paid $500,000 of consultancy fees. Oh, cool. You know, construction is going to be like 10 million. You know, it's like wow. You know, but you know, you cannot say that the boss, that guy say that, you know, you cut your concrete like this, you don't do it like that, you don't do it like that. Then at the end of the day, who's going to suffer? The end user is going to suffer, you know. So if the end user suffer, you're not doing your job professionally. I'll give you one very good example, okay. Recently, I've dealt with project. It's an integrity project. It's a very, very interesting project. That particular project was actually designed by the engineer. So the client paid an engineer to do the design. But that particular client does not want the engineer to be involved in the supervision. So he really do a horrible job in supervision. You know, his slab is less than 125 mm. Okay, and a lot of places he didn't put any steel bars. It was a shop lot. It was like 2 stories, 2 or 3 story shop lot. I don't remember. And it is in this it's like 5 or 6 units, I think, and it's a very small project, but completely no supervision. The guy just do whatever he wants. He wants to save whatever cost he can, and he just did it, you know. And then after that, the end user who actually is going to buy, already book the shop, is going to get a shock of their life when they see all sorts of like missing pieces in the job, you know. And then all the end user, can you imagine if you are as an engineer, you didn't take the responsibilities, and basically at the end of the day, this is being built here, and then your end users who has paid like maybe 700,000-800,000 for that particular property, and then at the end of the day, they cannot move in, they cannot get OP, you know, they can't do anything with that shop that they buy with their lifetime money, you know. You imagine that. Okay, shop, you say that, yeah, our shop is always like people who are so rich, you know, they buy shop to invest, you know, so it doesn't matter. Well, that is one thing. You cannot say that, you know. But what if it's the house? You know, you imagine yourself if you buy a house, okay? You bought a house, okay? That you and your wife and your spouse and your parents or your siblings save up and buy, you know, down payment, get a loan from the bank, and you're paying the loan already. The house is not complete, and the house cannot get OP because beam is too small, floor is not good, you know, the wall got cracked, you know, and the column is wrong and all that. So how? You cannot move in, you know, because authority don't give OP, engineer don't want to sign. You're going to be crying, I tell you. Okay, so that is the feeling of end users. If your end users don't get a good thing at the end of the day, they are the one that's going to suffer. If you build a road and that particular intersection is wrong, everyday traffic jam, then you are going to be, you know, responsible for it. Okay, because end users is suffering. Okay, the drain, you didn't do the calculation properly. They built the drain. There's no way of changing the sizes of the drain. It's a wrong calculation. Then how? Where every rainy season come, everybody need to move upstairs because your, you know, water is going to overflow, you know, and then flood into the house. And imagine living in a house like that. I'm sure some of you live in a house like that, okay? And I'm sure some of you have grandparents who live in a house like that, you know? And, you know, every night you're scared. During the rainy seasons, you're very scared that tomorrow morning you wake up, you'll be floating on the, you know, your bed will be floating, you see? So we don't want that. So that is what we call stakeholder. You're trying to balance these three: the paymaster, the end user, and yourself as a professional engineer. And of course, everybody who is involved in the project are the architect, the engineers, the contractor. They all have a stake in the project, okay? Because they are involved in the project. They have money, they have interest in the project. So project management is about applying the managerial skills, you know, and technical knowledge, the interaction for applying onto the project to make sure that the stakeholder you are performing based on the stakeholders' interest, and that stakeholders is this many people, okay? And then besides that, you need to be worried about the bigger environment, which I've mentioned. So it's going to be on legal, contract, health, risk, you know, environmental issues. All these are part of the bigger picture, politics, you know, and all that, you know, culture. Engineers involved in a lot of cultural stuff as well, you know, don't forget about that, you know, many times we forget about that, you know, refurbishment, you know, refurbishment of all courthouse, that is really the Astana, the Fort Margarita, you know, this is culture. And many culture, actually, you'd be surprised, you know, it's like you build a roundabout, there's a roundabout there, you don't want to build a flyover. And there's a really nice stories in the old days, you know, there's a 3rd Mile flyover. You know, before they want to take off the flyover, there was actually a little temple, like a little temple thing that they cannot take it off, you know. Actually, it's spiritual, but we don't say it's spiritual. That is actually cultural. There are things that is cultural that you cannot touch. It could be heritage, you know. So then you have to be smart enough to find a know-how to go around it, okay? And many project, if it's involving religious places and all that, it's not as easy as, oh, my project is here, I need to bulldoze all this off, and then clear it up and then forget it, and build things on top of it. You can't do that, okay? That is cultural things. And in Western country, cultural things are actually very, very valuable. Heritage is very, very valuable. You don't go down to Carpenter Street and razor off all the shop and build another 3-story, 4-story shops on top of that, So you can't do that. A lot of things are cultural, okay? And heritage, and you need to balance all these things. Okay, so this is what project management. I want you to gain appreciation, of all this. I want to gain awareness and appreciation of all this. You see, so you cannot just have technical skills and that's it. You need to have this balance. Okay, so any questions so far? Like, do you know why? Like, I'm trying to tell you why you need to do this course, We can actually have a chat, like it's okay, we don't really have to have like a full me talking, and then you all are like slipping away, I don't deal with you much last sem because I only have about 4 or 5 classes with you, you see. So this is a time that we really will get to know each other a lot, and some of you will find me very, very stern and very, very impatient, which I know, and then every time you have a problem, they all end up to look for Dr. Lee, which I'm fine, if she's okay with that, but she is not my PA, so you shouldn't be doing that. If there's any question, you should be asking me. Even though I get very impatient sometimes, my impatience is stemmed from the fact that maybe I've already said that like 10 times in the class, you see, and I've mentioned this, like this, and then you guys are like still don't know, like you've never heard of it before, then I get very worried, I get very worried, what is happening, it's like you're not listening, or are you something wrong with you, is there something wrong, or is there something wrong with me that I'm not clear about certain things? So I get very worried, and the moment I get very worried, my first reaction will be, huh, why, you didn't know that, and then so some people will think that, oh my gosh, Dr. Ting is so sarcastic, she's always trying to make us feel like we're dumb or something, but it's not that, so I hope you understand, that I'm actually worried, when I say this in class, I put it in recording, I put it in notes, I send it on e-leaks, and when you're doing your assignments, you are asking me a very, very basic questions, which I will find like, huh, I thought we covered that in class, it's like, so I will get very upset, with you and with myself too, you see. So that's where the impatience comes in. So like I said, I will try to adjust my tone, if I can, yeah. But when you have like problems like that all the time, you do get a bit annoyed, you get what I mean, yeah. All right. So here, let me go through the assessments with you if you have no questions so far. So the assessment bit of things is going to be, you're going to have a test, okay? 15% test is going to coming up, I have already set the test time. Okay, it's going to be on the 8th of November, okay? I'm not sure when is your break week. I know I want to set it in week 8 or week 8 will be the latest. So I more or less already put a time down for the test. So this is week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would assume that 8 is going to be, what am I looking at? No, I'm sorry, I don't know which calendar I was looking at the other day. Let me see, October 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I've given the wrong date to the unit of peperiksaan. I think it should be, I must be scrolling the wrong calendar. Yeah, so we will tentatively make it on the 7th of December. which is the week 8. Okay, now it's week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm sure you're gonna have a break week around the 29th onwards, and then after that, when you come back that Tuesday, we will have a test. So let's make it on the 7th of December at the moment, okay? And it's going to be a class time. It's going to be online face-to-face, so you need to have the camera on all the time, okay? And then before that, around the same time, around week 5, you'll be given a small assignment, okay? And that small assignment will require a group work, okay? And not group work, sorry, pair work, you know, find yourself a friend, pair, okay? That one will be handed in after the test, yeah? Or before the break week, somewhere around the break week time or after the break week. We'll decide that later, okay? So around week 5, you'll be given a small assignment, which you will hand in in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And that assignment is going to be 10%. So it's going to be a pair work, okay? So you get pair work assignment, you're going to have a test, and they're all hitting around late November to early December, okay? Be prepared for that. That'll be 25%. So after the test, you'll be given the big project. That big project is 25%. As usual, 4 to 5 people in the group. Choose your own group member. I don't particularly like to choose for yourself. And like I say many times, if you're in year 4 and you don't have friends, I don't know what to say, okay? It's going to be very sad. All right, so you should have friends and work in groups, and that one you will only hand it in after week 14, around week 14 or the study week time, okay? So that one is total 25. And in exam, my exam usually is going to be take home for you guys. It's going to be about 7, 8 questions. Normally it's going to be a very, very long exam. 7, 8 questions that have ABC, and it will probably take you about 6 hours take home. Okay, so that will be 50%. So total, you're gonna have 10 assignment for pair work, test is a single test, and online face-to-face. So save up and buy yourself a camera now, okay? Number 2, 3 is the project that will be handed in end of the semester. It's going to be big, and usually I would like to sort of like make it with respect to IDP, so that in IDP 2 your work is going to be a bit less, okay? So that you already do something in IDP 1, like in project management class, so that when you go to IDP 2 later, you need to hand in a full project management report. A lot of these things you can use already for your own IDP 2 later. That's how I usually plan it, okay? So that will be 50% altogether, 10, 15, 25 plus 50% exam, which will take minimum of 6 hours, okay? So that will be assessments, okay? So for your topic, this week, I'll just go through all this with you, like, you know, why you need to do project management, which I went through extensively just now. Then after that, this week, I will just give you a very, very little bit of revision on management. Okay, what is management and what is project and what is management, and why you going these two, you know, why project and management plus together become a couple that will never go away. So that will be a marriage. So it's project management. So we'll talk about that on Thursday class, and then follow on the hardcore thing is this basically project life cycle. You will straight move into after project management, time cost quality, a simple revision. This Thursday, we move on and talk about project life cycle. And then from project life cycle, we will talk about different components of the project life cycles. What do you do? How do you manage? And what do you need to look into, you know, and all that. And why project have a life cycle? Like a human being, you have a life cycle as well. You come from birth to death, you know, so project also have to start to finish, and not only finish as in construction finish, but the end of the service of that particular infrastructures of that project is finished already, it's totally dead, you know. So it's moving on to the next aim and goal and all that. So that is project life cycle. And then we will talk about a very important thing. I think that will happen around end of week 2 or beginning of week 3 will be engineering resources. This is going to be very, very, very hardcore stuff. Like you need to learn about resources. What are the different resources? How do you map out different resources? Do resources charts and all that. That is going to be what you're going to do in the future as well, you know. So then from the resources, lining up, doing resources, work breakdown resources, and that will finish up week 3. And then week 4 we'll move into scheduling. Scheduling around week 4 we'll move into scheduling, and Dr. Lee will show you on week 4 or week 5, end of week 5, beginning of week 5, I think she will show you how to do a schedule. I mean, like Microsoft project. Okay, so Microsoft project. So that one will be a particular talk that is going to be given by her to actually show you how to use the program. So it's going to be some basic, not to say basic, it's going to be like you're going to draw a whole program out of that. And the assignment is going to be based on something like that, okay? Because you learn by Microsoft project, and then from there you will do a schedule. Okay, and then we learn about CPM. CPM is going to be tough. You know, it's going to be very, very tough because a lot of you are usually half dead when it comes to CPM, but it's actually not that difficult. You know, I will teach you what to do. You know, so that will be around week 5-ish. You know, kind of thing. 6 already. I think that will be reaching around 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks, and then 6 to 7 weeks will be starting on cost management. So from this building up of time, then managing time, doing scheduling, monitoring the progress of work, and then you will be moving into cost management, which will be building up from time management. The time plan that you do, the schedule that you do is going to be very, very important when it comes to cost management. Okay, so we'll build up from there. And then after that, cost is going to take us about 1 to 1.5 weeks. So by week 7, we pretty much finish with cost management. Okay, pretty much finished with cost management. And your BQ and all that, you've learned that in construction technology. We just do some revision on BQs and all that. And this is the part that I may invite external speakers, a very experienced engineer, a very good friend. He's very, very interested in telling all the young engineers about BQs and costing and all that. And now about the industry, about payment, you know, consultant payment and all that. So I think I will invite him in maybe end of week 7 or beginning of week 8. Beginning of week 8 is probably end of week 7 or after your test. So we'll probably finish up with all the base, the technical things, and we'll 7, then you go for your break, and then you come back for your test. After the test that Thursday, I'll probably arrange for him to come in and give you a talk on that. Okay. So week 9 onwards, we'll be talking about quality management and safety management. This one is going to take us about 1 week. I mean, sorry, not 1 week, about 1.5 weeks or so. Then we move into talking about construction, actual construction site management. So then on site, what do you do? How this upper bit here, a lot of this about planning. Okay, here is more on the actual site manpower management, site changes, control, labor, you know, also things, people, relationship, and all that. So here is all in the construction site management. And then we're going to have risk management 1 week, and then we're going to have procurement management. Okay, we will need to do economics as well, because this is actually a pretty new syllabus. We will actually do legal contract as well around this region. Okay, around this region, we'll cover economics as well, because I cannot not give you economics at all and not give you any basic on contract at all, because there's going to be elective. There's going to be an elective, but not all of you will choose those elective, you see. So we still need to we will still need to actually cover things like economics for 1 week, and then we will cover procurement and contract in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, so this is what we'll be covering with you for the last 2 weeks of the classes. Okay, so we will try to move up all this a bit earlier on so that we will have more time at the back when we talk about, some of you have heard of it before, extension of time, liquidated damage, EOT, extension of time, so VOs, variation orders, some of you have learned that in your LI, you've seen that in your LI, especially those in JKR, you're dealing with the contract section. So as engineers, your job, your role is also to administer the contract. It's part of procurement management. So here probably in the last 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be covering that. So risk management, I will try to take up one class only and then do a bit of economics with you, okay, and which will flow into week 12, okay, and then end of week 12 to the end of the whole sessions, we'll be focusing on contract management, okay, fully into contract, construction procurement and contract management, okay, so that will be the flow of classes, okay. Anything that you want to ask me? Yeah. So we have covered why you want to do this course, why is it necessary that you want to do this course as an engineer, because you're going to be balancing not only technical, you're not going to be sitting there doing your design, going to site, you're not going to be in the site office, not doing anything, like sit there and wait for people to look for you. There's a lot of things that you need to be managing. There's a lot of things that you need to be in touch with. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of components of work that you need to actually merge them together and weave them together into a big, nice picture so that your project will be completed within time, within cost, within the quality that is required, okay? So that one is why, okay? And then we will move on and talk about the assessments just now. What are the assessments like? And the classes will be, the link are all on WebEx. Okay, another thing is how the classes is run, okay? There will be times whereby I will give you online face-to-face like this. There will be times when if the topic that we're talking about is very just theoretical, very theoretical as in knowledge-based, then most likely is I will give you a pre-recorded lecture. So I will announce that week by week. Say this week, I will tell you that we're going to have today as online face-to-face, and on Thursday, we should be doing online face-to-face. And then with the online face-to-face, all the lecture will be recorded, and I will put it up onto Elite via the YouTube channel that I'll be converting this to. Okay, because it will take up smaller space. So on the link itself, you will see. So Elite now have 2 links already. That is the WebEx link for Tuesday and Thursday class, and you use that throughout the whole semester. And then followed by the class 1, I'll put up this course plan for you, and then I will put down this particular recording, so that if you go back, you will see, what we explained, if you need to. So for online face-to-face, that is how we'll be handling the classes. Then after that, we will be also doing pre-recorded lecture. Like I said, if the classes does not need a lot of guidance, like I'll say, let me try this, I will tap it here and then you see me doing it, so those are actually important. We do online face-to-face. But if there's a classes that you just have to sit there and listen to me talk, then I will do a pre-recorded lecture. And that pre-recorded lecture, same thing, you also listen to me talk, so that one you can listen anytime. So I will post it up maybe on Thursday. Let's say if the classes is on Thursday, I'll post it up on Thursday. Again, I'll put a link in the class. In the ELIP, sorry. ELIP will be going week by week. 14 weeks, I will post things up week by week accordingly, the syllabus, okay? So it will be run 2 ways. So this week, like I said, it's going to be online face-to-face. Next week, I will see, I will inform your class monitor, Anna, and Anna will tell everybody, so just watch out for her message. And if Anna don't inform you, you can tell me, then I will go and score Anna. But I think Anna is a nice girl. She will not inform you. So please listen to her message. Every Thursday, every Tuesday, I will tell you, this week we're going to be doing what and what. Online face-to-face or pre-recorded. So it could be one online face-to-face, one pre-recorded as well. So you won't see me like 2 times a week, honestly. You know, sometimes you will, sometimes you will, sometimes you will not. Okay. I will alternate that. Okay, so if it's a pre-recorded, as usual, it's going to be 10-minute segments. There will be like 4 or 5 segments, 6 segments, 7 segments. Then you listen according to that segments. Okay, and I will also do QR. We do online attendance. We do online attendance. If let's say we do online the pre-recorded, as usual, I will find a question of some sort that I will ask, a yes or no, a very simple question. Then you can actually answer those questions over a certain period of time. That will be your attendance. Okay, that is me interacting with you, knowing that you actually read my notes, or that you actually, because in my pre-record sometimes I would tell you, you know, the answer is actually in way. So if you don't listen to my pre-recorded lecture, you probably don't really know where to find the answer, you see. So then that's a trick. So it's actually get you to listen and get you to read the notes. And then so if I do pre-recorded, that's my way of making sure that you all did listen and you all did read the notes. Okay, so wonderful. That's all from me. Any questions? So I will unshare this, and we can have a chat. You know, anything that you feel like from the last construction technology, you all have any questions for me, or you have any thing that you want me to change a little bit, you know, for this particular course, I'm more than happy to listen to your opinion. 105 of you. I was telling Dr. Lee, you know, because Dr. Lee was telling me yesterday that she had a first year class. So I don't really remember whether you still remember how you feel like when you're in first year, but she had people waiting for her in the room at 11. Her class is at 12, and she had people waiting in the room at 11:30, and she was laughing and said, "Oh, this is only happening in first year. How wonderful! They all come early, you know." Then I said, "I'm going to have a 4th year class tomorrow, you know, and I'm wondering if they're going to come early, you know." And the result is I'm a bit late, you know. So yeah, like I said, I had a meeting, I had a report, and I had a reporting meeting, and I was so sick of talking that I tell Anna that I really need to, you know, have a break and not talk for 20 minutes first, you know, before I see you guys. Otherwise, I'll be like, like that, you know. So I don't want that. Yeah. So then yeah, there are some of you waiting, and I was telling her, you know, I'll be lucky if these people, this old bird actually come, 90 of them actually show up, or 80 plus of them actually show up. Well, there's 105 of you, so you guys are not too bad, but there's another 20 plus missing. So why? I don't know. Okay, so you tell them Dr. Thing is looking for you already. Yeah. Okay. So any questions so far? Anything you want to ask me? Yes, you can use MS to make your, you can, yes, let me see, there seems to be a lot of, okay, morning, okay, in Unimas already. Oh, Rosetta is in Unimas already, yes. Yes, there will be project management. We will involve contract management. So 64624, I answered you just now in the syllabus. Yes, we're going to have quite a fair bit. Last week, we're going to have about 2 or 3 weeks in contract management, okay? Okay, what is the difference between a project manager and a project engineer? A project engineer will be, project manager has to be a project engineer, okay? I cannot emphasize that enough. A civil engineering project has to be managed by engineers, civil engineers themselves. You cannot get a lawyer, you cannot get a QS, you cannot get an architect or anybody else, a bank manager, or even Dr. Mahathir, you know, 90 plus years old, so good with management, to come and manage your project. You can't, okay? Because it's different. A project manager needs to be a project engineer first. So as an engineer, because actually project engineer is a title that is given to all engineers, civil engineers, because every job that you do in civil engineer is a project. So whether you're being called a civil engineer or project engineer, you are actually a project engineer, okay? It's a basic title, okay? Because our job as a civil engineer, we go project by project, project by project, project by project. We don't do general thing. Your project is not going to be sitting there not finished for 5 years or 10 years. You know, you will, as a job as an engineer, you will do from project finish 1 year time, then you move on to the next project and the next project and the next project. Okay, so we're gonna have a lot of project engineer. So project engineer can be managed, can be design, can be a design engineer. You know, if you're in a design office, they'll call you a design engineer. Sometimes project engineer on site, they will call you a site engineer, RE, resident engineer, cloud of work. Those are all project engineer. That has a title of project engineer. Okay. Then project manager is the person that will actually look after the entire project. So as a project engineer, some of you may be just design, some of you may be just like looking after the structure bit, some of you may be just looking after you know, the civil works, you know. Some of you, yes, you look after everything, but you know, you still, there will be a guy up above you who knows everything. So as a project engineer, the title is more technical. You are actually looking after the piling, you know, the concreting, the technical bit of things, doing record, more on technical things, you know, and then you probably check out on the bar bending, you know, look into the machinery coming in and all that. Those are very technical. So project engineer are very technical. Project manager is wider. So project manager will look after the coordination of the job, the technical, your technical report will go to him. He will need to assess if there's any problems, any delays in scheduling and all that. And whatever that you do as a project engineer, he needs to know everything, okay? Because he will be actually weaving it with the rest of the component. And that's why you are being paid 3,000, he is being paid 10,000, okay? So anything goes wrong, is the project manager. For project engineer, is more of a technical thing. So he will be liaising with you, the QS, the, you know, the client, and the architect. Maybe every building project, building as in you have a building, architect is a lead consultant. Anything that is that is civil works, drain, road, water, sewage plus structure, you are the lead consultant as a civil engineer, and then you'll be managed by the project manager. Okay, and then if a project director is the one that look after many projects. Project manager can be looking after many projects, but not as many. So under a project director, there will be a whole group of projects that is looked after by him. And then the project manager will have a 2 or 3 maybe at a one time. Okay. My maximum as a project manager, I think at a one time, looking after private project will be about 7 or 8, but it's quite small. Okay. And project engineer usually is based on that one particular site. Yeah. You don't jump from site to site, it's that particular site. Okay. So do I answer your question, Zai? Yeah, so the manager actually, he needs to know everything. There is an overlap because whatever you are, the engineer will do all the recording, you know, do all the supervision, the checking and all that. But you need to report back to the manager, because then there will be he will be the one that will actually know whatever that you're doing, and then plus the rest of the other things as well. So you may not see that. You may see that the job scope is the same, but actually project manager's job scope is very big. Every problem with coordination, every problem will call him, not the project engineer. Then you will receive phone call from project manager. Okay? Right. Oh, there's no SEM break this SEM. Oh, okay. So we go all the way straight for 14 weeks. Are we going to do that? So for MS work, yes, we're going to use, mostly you'll be using MS project to do your work program. Some of you can use Primavera if you know how to use Primavera, but Primavera is more complicated. Okay, to do scheduling, normally we'll just get you to use Microsoft Project. Previously, I've also gotten a Primavera company to come and demonstrate to you the use of Primavera. If I can find them this SEM, if they're willing to do it, I will probably invite them as well to come and give you a session after Dr. Lee's session. Okay. So normally, because we've only got 14 weeks, we've got so many things to cover. So what happens if we do have invited speakers and my topics are actually being pushed aside? So I will have to do pre-recorded, and then you may have a bit of extra things to learn in that way. Yeah. So actually, Microsoft Project is actually available in Unimas. So I'm not sure whether you can get our IT department, Abang Eddie, because you guys are not, maybe there's a pin or something that you can key into your own computer that you can use Microsoft Project at home. May have to check with our IT department. But if you're in uni, definitely our lab has Microsoft Project. But a lot of you do have the cracked version, so I'm not too worried. Just don't say that you're using the cracked version, please lah. If the EAC comes and interview you guys, never say that, oh, I use cracked version, you know. Be smart about it. If you use cracked version, then your degree will be down the drain, okay? And those of you who are actually going to be, you know, this week, I think you all split up into your IDP group already. Part of IDP is going to be discussed by me. So, you know, I will be mainly in charge of the project management. Okay, so mid-sem is 29th November to 5th of December. So that's why your test will be on the 7th, okay? Then your first assignment hand-in date will be roughly around that same week, maybe about 10th or something. Okay. You guys have any questions? You just continue typing. I will open the QR code now, okay?
Morning, Dr. Ting.
Yes.
You've been a project manager before.
Yes, I was in the industry for quite a few numbers of years before I teach. Yeah.
I want to ask a very small question.
Can.
Just from your personal opinion, how do you deal with incompetency for someone under your team?
Incompetency in the contractors or the designers?
Let's say you are a project manager, so you have a few project engineers under your supervision.
Mm.
So how do you deal with that?
Actually, you know, if engineers, I will find that engineers is a lot easier to deal with, okay? Because you all are educated people, okay? You can talk to them, and then obviously my styles is I have to make sure that everything is in black and white. So it is because I'm very concerned with contract management. So I'm a very contract management kind of person. So for me, it's like, you know, I need to talk to them properly, but it has to be a very recorded kind of you know, chatting, so that you give them a fair bit of warning, you know, like advice first before you go into different warning signs, you know. And usually incompetent people, you talk to them many times like this, they will quit the job themselves actually. Meanwhile, I have many young engineers who just can't take it much at the end of the day, and then they will just quit, you know. So it's not surprising, you know. So that way, there are some really incompetent one, like really you tell them that, you know, you need to do this and that, they just can't get it. And then when they go to site, you know, and then they just couldn't they just couldn't capture that bit of the technical things. That's number one, in terms of problem solving. And that is not so serious because you can learn, you see. But what is the most serious one is a lot of them don't know how to deal with subcontractors and contractors. And that's the part that you can't really teach, you see. I myself, at one time, I have like 5 or 6 team of subcontractor under myself, and they are a nightmare to manage, honestly, because you tell them this in front of them, they will say yes, 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 and then and then they come back and it's a whole different thing, they will do their own nice little dance, in Chinese we just say that, the dance continue, the horse continue to run, kind of thing. It's just like that. And then I have subcontractor who will come to me every month and say that he has no money and he has to borrow. His job is not done, like he only do like this amount of work, and that if you pay him, he's going to disappear. I mean, this is not talking about labor, it's talking about subcontractors here, you see. So I will have to deal with that every single month with that 1 or 2 guys who is just out of money all the time, and you don't pay them. They said that, okay, fine, I will sack more people, and then I won't come to site anymore, or I will just take it slowly kind of thing, So then there will be a few that really, really get a lot of complaints. And actually in my span, I've actually sacked two, really, really kick them out and then just forget about it, And I come to think about it, I was young as well, so and that kind of way of doing things may be quite harsh as well. So I mean, a lot of times we need to think about long run as well, because the industry is quite small, So, but of course, you don't set people without backup plans. Like you need to know who are the backup people that can come in immediately and get things going. You see, and if you don't have, and then this subcontractor between subcontractor, they also have some principle. Sometimes they don't want to pick up other people's job as well. So you need to know that if you want to, today you want to kick this guy out, right away, there will be somebody coming in and do the thing for you immediately. Otherwise, you kick him out and then you can't find anybody. The next thing is you go back and beg them. Sorry, then you'll be crying. Yeah, So I think managing them is the hardest for me, actually, not as in managing the professional engineers, but I would say managing consultant, the design engineers can be very, very tough as well, because they would not admit that there's a design problem.
Yeah.
They will not admit that there's a design problem. They will tell you that my design is perfect. It's your problem. It's your workmanship that's a problem. So that is where I emphasize on technical know-how. If you are an engineer, in the old days, in my time, there isn't that many engineer who is going to be employed by the contractor. So what happened is, if you're a project manager, maybe at that time it's based on experience, like you have a lot of experience, then they call them a project manager. Like they may be working for that contractor firm for 15 years, 20 years, like they're in charge of like different sites, So they are promoted to project manager, but actually they don't have the title, you see. So I think the best way of dealing with consultant is you yourself is an engineer.
And maybe
you want to argue about loading, I can argue about loading with you. You want to argue about whether this is your fault or my fault, I can argue with you because I know technically as well. I have an IR as well. You are an engineer as well. So you are a project engineer as well. So you have an engineering degree as well. So in that sense, they are a bit more receptive.
Yeah. You can stand your point because of the achievement.
So yeah, they can take your point, they can take that argument, and then you can write letters. You put a lot of things in letter. A lot of things dealing with subcontractors. Subcontractor is a bit difficult, but with consultant, with your own engineers, a lot of things are actually on paper. You have to write to them, not only verbally. You have to write to them and to back up your points. Okay? So that will be the best way of dealing with them. Not only, I mean, we do not want you to be the kind of engineer, everything, pen, paper, write, take out your laptop and write, and write root letters, write letters. That is really trying to argue a point. Normally, we will go for verbal first. That is my style, and I will tell that it's a people industry. So make sure that you don't go and put yourself on that confrontational role straight away. Make friends first. You are an engineer. You graduate from a engineering school. You are equally good. With any of your peers after a few years of experience. Then talk to them, make friends with them, discuss, like go for that meetings, discussion first, and then follow up with a letter based on your discussion points. And that would be the best way of keeping the records while doing it in a gentle way. Don't talk and then letter over, email over, WhatsApp over, that kind of thing, Very, very careful with that. Never, never, never straight away put yourself in that confrontational role, whether you're a client engineers, whether you're a contractor engineer, whether a consultant engineer. Always go for discussion meeting first. Discuss the meeting. Now a lot of things are online. Call for online meeting, do recording, everything is there. Okay. Then if you feel like some points needs to be followed up with a letter, you say in the meeting, okay, I will follow up with this with a letter to you later. Okay. So that everybody has a record or is in the minutes of the meeting. But we go for the civilized way first because you're all educated people. Discussion. There's nothing. I always tell all my students, design are not perfect. Workmanship are not perfect. So even if you're a consultant engineer, make sure that in the future, you listen to what the contractor has to say. Some of them are professional. They are also engineers. Some of them are very experienced contractor. You listen to whatever they want to say. They may be able to tell you some of the technical things that cannot be built, that you design and cannot be built on site. Just listen and see and use your brain to use your intelligence and common sense to tapis whether these are the people who are actually wanting to get more money, or they actually have a genuine issues here, then you discuss and resolve the problem. That would be the best, I think. And then follow up with letters and paperwork and all that. And keep paperwork. Very, very important. Okay. With subcontractors, because some of them are not educated like yourself, your level, your talking, your communication with them has to be a different styles completely. You need to be able to just be quiet, observe, and learn and listen to whatever they have to say. Understand their styles. Every subcontractors, every workers, they have their own styles. Okay, so understand their styles, understand their strength, understand their weakness, and then give out project that is good for them. Not just, oh, you're free, I give you, or you're not free, though, I don't give you. So just really dish out, talk to them before you embark onto the project with them and see whether they're the right people for it. And always make sure that the payment terms, the payment terms are properly agreed on, and the money, the amount, and then the rate and everything are all agreed upon before you start the job. That is very important, especially dealing with subcontractors. Yeah.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. We can discuss more as we go along. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question, but it is a people industry. Always remember that you're not dealing with machines,
Yeah,
You're not dealing with machines. They have emotions, they have thinking, they have interests, they have their pride, they have their integrity, they have their moral. So it's always about listening more than you talk. I think that will be a bit more useful in the beginning. Okay.
in the beginning.
Then after that, once you establish your own styles and all that, then you can move in and be a bit stronger in certain things lah. In that sense, be a bit more assertive in certain sense lah. Yeah.
I see. Thank you for the sharing.
Okay, no problem. Okay, QR code is like this. As usual, I will open group by group. You can use your Unimas now to take the attendance. Then after that, don't go and type on the chat box. Like ask me to, as usual, last year you already know my styles. Don't ask me to, like type manually first. Let me go through everything first. Then I will go group by group. Whoever needs manual, you open your sound and tell me your student number. Then I can type it in. Okay, because now I'm actually in now I'm actually in the WebEx, right? I'm sharing screen, so I can't look at the screen and the chat box at the same time. You see. You have to understand one thing, Alan. Try to think of it this way, lah. As a engineer, at the end of the day, if your principle is about win-win, everybody is winning in the project. You know, the client get a good project at a good price. You professionally has done a good job, as a project engineer, and then the client, the end user, get the things that they need and want and all that. Make sure that every decision you make is not trying to make somebody lost the game, and then push somebody into a corner.
I see.
Yeah, so then if you keep that as a principle, then I think in people management is always useful in that sense. You pushing people into a corner, you are as good as pushing yourself into a corner.
That's right. It will come back.
That you will come back here. It may be a turnaround, you see.
Yeah. I just find it very interesting during my industrial training to see how people works lah. Like some people have the mindset of doing the right thing, and some want to do things right. You know what I mean?
Some want to do the right thing, yes,
And
but
some tends to do things right, like they wanted to do it their method, to be fast, effective, but maybe a little bit out from the spec. Yes. So when we're talking to them, we have to be very clear on the contract, based on the contract. We have to talk based on the contract and then convince them. It's quite hard to convince someone.
always try to go from the beneficial point of view, lor. Like let's say if they want to do certain things fast and all that, they may have a specific method, but you have to know whether that method is actually beneficial for the project. If they can finish the project early, you can hand over the project early. It doesn't affect anything. It doesn't have to be more money coming in. Why not? Let them do it,
Yeah, so I'm still
There's
learning
nothing wrong with that, you see. I mean, like, of course, if they do it and then the quality drops, or instead of 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, take out from work, they take it out in 3 days, they only be fast, then that's different story, because you're compromising on the quality, you see. So if a contractor or somebody has a faster method of carrying out certain things, and then you have to study what is the technique, and then after that, see if whether that is actually workable or not. Maybe it is workable and it doesn't cost more money. It doesn't drop any standard. So why not? You see? So you cannot be
Yes.
so inflexible as well.
Yeah, I understand that. Just
Mm.
I'm still learning about the boundaries between how much quality that I'm looking for and how the effect.
Mm. Yes, that you are actually on the right track, actually. I mean, like, it is difficult to manage, but if you go for the hard way, like I want to do it right, I don't care about the rest of the things, then you are being too hard ass. So you may not you may not actually move the project, you see.
It's not practical lah.
It's not practical. You need to know there are people who are out there, they have done it before, they know what it is like to actually feel and pour and do the things. So you need to respect that as well, you see.
Yes.
Because you yourself never drive an excavator, you
Yeah.
never pour a concrete, you never tie a steel bar in your life. So there are things that you cannot say that I want to do it right. I've got engineers who are so idiotic that they say that the steel bar must be clean. So when the steel bar comes, because it's actually coming from different places over the journey of don't know how long, they ask us to use a toothbrush to brush the steel bar. Do you think that is doing it right.
It's just a waste of time.
Exactly. So you need to know the balance, isn't it?
Yeah,
So the type of engineers who say, I want to do everything right, then if you're not being practical, you're going to be sacrificing your project. At the end of the day, you will be the one suffering.
the steel bar, the cleanliness, unless it's really like standard with hardened concrete or something like that, I
Exactly.
don't think it's
So,
a big deal.
I mean, because they are just whatever you mentioned, it's just people who doesn't want to do it. I mean, they want to do it right, you see. So what is the
Practically.
definition of right? Practicality, yes. Last time my bosses like to tell me common sense. You have to have common sense. You
Yeah
need to be
lah.
intelligent, but you need to have common sense as well. Okay.
Still looking for the boundaries. I think the boundaries are very important. So that is again through the
Experience,
experiences.
yes, and then learning. The books is the first layer.
First layer.
So at least now there are things that you can and cannot do. At least some boundary. But when you're outside, you need to learn new boundary. Group 2. Okay, I'll go for group 3. Group 3. Okay. I will go for group 1 again. Okay, and anybody who hasn't keyed in QR now, you can shoot now. Group 2, 3. Okay. So I'll off all the QR now, and those of you who wants to do manual, will do manual now. Okay. Anybody who needs manual attendance? Group 2, anyone who needs manual attendance?
Madam,
Yes.
Civil 164771.
Kudiya, is it?
Thank you.
Group 3, anybody who needs manual attendance in group 3? Calling 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 5 time. How come the attendance was 105 and then suddenly there's only few people who are absent? Huh? So weird. I only have 110 in this class, mate. Anyway, I stopped sharing. Okay, all right then. I think that's all. Like I say, I don't entertain people who are in the chat group. You need to tell me who you are when I call out. Okay, so the chat people, I wouldn't entertain people who put their thing in the chat group because I can't go and memorize your thing in the chat and then go and look for your name in the QR, you know. So you have to tell me when I say group 1, 2, 3, who needs manual attendance, group 1, then you need to read out your student number to me, okay? All right, I think that's all from me for today. So I'll see you again on Thursday, okay? Have a good day. Bye.
Okay.